No one in this world can you trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. This you can trust.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host, SwampSwimmer, and with me as always, the Scotty to my Jordan, Vespasian. Did we use that already? I feel like we might have used that one already.
And it should be Pippin but anyways, I'm not sure. That's a good question. Hi everybody.
Oh man, we are out of it today. But hey, before we get into the battle report, Vespasian, you had an experience with Nightshade recently. Let me hear about it.
Yeah, I thought it would be kind of fun to share some observations. I had a group of 3 friends of mine come over and do a training game actually yesterday at my place, and it was a mixed bag. It was one friend who had played Warhammer Fantasy 8th Edition, one friend who had played 40K, I can't remember what edition, and then one friend who had never played any tabletop miniature game ever.
That is a full spectrum, yeah.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I just thought it'd be funny to kind of like quickly recount some of the takeaways. So it also, like, the reactions were like followed that spectrum exactly. The guy who had never done a tabletop miniature war game before was pretty overwhelmed. The guy in the middle was like, I recognize enough with 40K to kind of like understand the mechanics, and it seems like a well done game. And then the guy who played Warhammer Fantasy was like, this is awesome. and just loved the changes and the differences that make Ninth Age so much better than the rule set for 8th. So it was an interesting experience. We played 3,000, which I think was probably like a decent size for a starter game. It was enough to have some variability to it wasn't just a war machine and like an infantry unit and a cavalry unit. There was some meat on the bones, but it wasn't so big or complicated as a 4,500 point game to kind of overwhelm a bit. It was interesting, an observation, kind of if you are having to explain everything, it's like my takeaway is I almost would not like even try to get somebody into the game from scratch, because it just like I don't know,
it feels
what
like you're in a classroom and you're a teacher just lecturing. Yeah,
and also just like overwhelming, like the amount that you have to, the kind of foundational knowledge that you take for granted when you're bringing somebody in who's played a tabletop game before, like. It was I just don't know how we're gonna get brand new people to start this game. Like it seems like that person would really have to want to do it. Because it would take multiple games. I mean, I just think like the curve before you could start actually playing and enjoying it is so long for somebody like that. I don't know how you get new people in. But I think
you think about how you got in
it's
personally. You think about how you got in personally from scratch. And mine was when I was a kid. It was my best friend, and we both discovered the game, and we both played it. Even though we were horrible, we didn't know the rules, we got all the rules wrong. We still got that love of the game from experiencing it together. I mean, that's a different aspect than picking it up with someone who already knows the game. When they're just crushing you every single game until you start learning. Yeah, I think that's a really hard way to get into the game.
Yeah. Interesting observation, though. He is a computer gamer, so he's played computer and console games, and so he suggested, he's like, I might actually enjoy it a bit better if we could, sort of take out the needing to get together for several hours with all the models and everything like that. He's like, if we could meet for like an hour on an online simulator and kind of like just chat through stuff in a less, sort of having to do everything at once environment, and more like hey, let's walk through combat and talk about the rules. So I might try that tack, just like lower barrier to entry, basically, so anyways, another use case for online gaming over tabletop, potentially to introduce new players who've never played a tabletop war game. But anyways, it was a lot of fun, cool to. It was also, fun to like not make tournament decisions and kind of make the more fun decisions sometimes, which was cool. And just the wild stuff that happens when you got to roll dice, So it was a lot of fun, and I think I might have gotten, I think the two of them in the middle and upper end of the spectrum, I think actually might be getting back into it, so that would be cool.
That was going to be my next question. Like, what's the result? Like, I'm sure there's plenty of intro games that turn into nothing. Like, people just try it and then forget about it. But who are out of the three people of the spectrum of people? Who are the two that are seriously considering playing more of the Ninth Age?
The two who had tabletop wargaming experience, so the fantasy and the 40k player.
Interesting. Yeah, makes sense. I really think the way we can find more players to play Ninth Age with is to really connect with X Fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy X 8th edition players.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I'm hoping that ends up working out and can have some more kind of reliable local, casual games, which would be fun. So yeah. Anyways,
all right.
There's my little tangent.
I love it. I love it. I would really love to do a video about the different rank and flank tabletop war games and the differences and contrast and compare. But we'll get there.
Maybe.
We'll get there. But let's get to the battle report. We are game 1 of the Wicked GT 2022 in Wichita, Kansas, run by my great friend Rob Navarez. Rob knows how to run a tournament. If you're in the Midwest / Plain states, I don't know what that area of the United States people like to call themselves, but that if you are in that area, go to this tournament. It's super chill, super fun, very, very much not a power gamer atmosphere. It's a fun and have a good time and roll dice tournament, which that's the reason why I go back every year. And I get paired into Walter, who's he's a Wichita guy. He actually got pulled in very last minute because there were a couple last minute drops to the tournament. Walter's an awesome guy. I've seen him a bunch of times, but this is the first time I played him. He's playing dwarves against my Saurian ancients. So we'll see what kind of matchup that is for me. It's a Dawn Assault breakthrough round 1, which is good. But let's go into my list. I want to introduce you, Vespasian, to the farewell tour of the Skink Blender. My love, the Skink Blender, the unit that gives the unit poison attacks with 5 characters in the front and a Skink Priest or 2 on a palanquin in the back of the unit, giving them poison with reroll to hit and a bajillion, like 40 attacks. I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that won't be in the new Saurian Ancient book, which is supposed to come out next month sometime. This is my farewell tour, the victory lap, the tournament before retirement. Very sad about it, but this is my I call it the Cult of the Snake God list. It is 2 Skink Priests, both on palanquins. One's an adept on Druidism with a Jade Staff and an Obsidian Rock, so the unit has MR2. It has double Healing Waters. Then the other Skink is on a palanquin, also this time with the Plaque of the Snake God, so it gives the unit Hatred. Adept on Shamanism with Sun Tablet, so you can choose any of the 6 Shamanism spells. I'll tell you right now, every game I take Totemic Summon and Break the Spirit because they're such a good 1-2 combo. Then my General is a Cayman Ancient with Tarasar's Vigor, which is gives him 1 more wound and 1 more clip of armor. So he's a 5 wound, 2-up armor save model. Pretty good, and a Lucky Charm to, in case I need to, I can reroll one of those armor saves. Then I've got the 5 Skink Captains, 5 of them. One's my BSB with a Rending Stainer and Essence of Mithril. Oh, all of them have a Blowpipe and paired weapons. The second skink captain has the Egg which is the breath weapon. That could be strength 3 or strength 5. And then 3 naked skink captains. Then in core, I've got 2 blocks of 30 skinks with 3 Cayman units with Legion Standard. And the reason why I took these 2 is they're really, with Legion Standard, they got a lot of static combat res. And then you throw Break the Spirit on whatever they're fighting. And the skinks have parry, so they're hitting them on 4s. That turns into 5s with -1 to hit. And this is the few combos in the game where you can get -2 to hit in combat, because the unit special rule, when the Caymans are in the unit, you can swing on the Caymans and they're -1, not distracting, but -1 to hit. And then you put Break the Spirit, which is not distracting, it's just -1 to hit. Double -1 to hit, -2 to hit. It's kind of a unique situation that I don't think is any other list, which it's fun. These are 2 basically roadblock units, and also if they flank, they can put all that static res into someone's flank and break them. Then I've got the Skink Blender unit, which is 26 guys with the Tree Fog banner. Block of 7 Cayman with halberds where the general goes. 2 times 3 Tyrodons, which is, you know, just chaff. A Stygia Store with Mystic Traveler. So this is my 3rd wizard. And then 2 Thyroscutuses with Sun Engine. So I'm channeling 5 in this list. 5, 5, 5, 5. And that's the gist of it. Throw those Thyroscutuses out there. Try to make someone break them, because they'll stick against almost anyone because they're stubborn. Even if, and the best thing is if you throw Healing Waters on them, they've got a 1-up, 4-up. That's like so hard to get through. It's a fun list. I'm not gonna spoil how it did this tournament, but I was pleased.
Okay.
All right.
It's a lot of magic. 9 spells, 5 channels.
Yeah, what is that?
A lot of magic.
4, 6, 7, 8, 9 spells. Yeah.
I mean, it seems to have a lot of. You've got 4 pretty solid blocks.
Yeah, it's really a
Very
skink
solid
combat list. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple pieces of chaff. Yeah, I think the only like kind of sort of blinking red light for me is just mobility. Right? Like you got 4 big, like, beefy blocks and not a lot of fast movers.
No, I agree. I definitely don't have a zoning threat. The thing that's sneaky about on the movement subject is all those rank and file units are move 6, march 12. So they can get across the board if they need to.
Yeah, fair enough.
And let's see. This is Walter's list. We got a big old king on a throne, rune of destruction, 2 runes of might, rune of shielding, a runesmith with 2 runes of iron, rune devouring, and a battle rune. 3 battle runes, sorry. Thane BSB with runic standard of shielding, 2 runes of iron, rune of the forge. I don't remember what that is, but 30 Greybeard to the flaming standard. Flaming standard scares me a little bit. 10 clansmen with a crossbow with the rune standard of swiftness. Another 10 marksmen with crossbows. 30 deep watch. 6 old guardians, 2 copters, and 2 cannons. Whoa. Cannons are not that scary because I don't have a lot of points at my monsters. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I don't see how I can break his big blocks. It's a little scary, and of course, there's no way I'm killing that king. There is just no way.
Yeah, Deep Watch and Hold Guardians are definitely hard for you to get through in a big way. But I agree, the cannons are not really that big of a deal. All the flaming certainly hurts.
Yeah,
that's for sure. And the destruction is the D3 wounds one, so that guy can just go through pretty much anything.
He can go through the Cayman real quick.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, yeah, interesting match. What did you rate this? Yellow?
Yeah, yellow, maybe creeping into orange, but a yellow.
Breakthroughs kind of, you guys have like sort of equivalent blocky scoring, so I think it's pretty even there. Okay.
Now, if I remember correctly, yeah, I get first turn. I think I dropped everything to go first. So I dropped very symmetrically in the center. Let's see, from left to right, I've got the Caimans with my general in there. The general, the Caiman with the backpack on, with the little albino skink on his backpack. I call him Master Blaster. I've got 2 units of pterodons what you call it? Vanguarded up to where they are in the field here. We've got 1 Skaman unit, 1 Thyroscutus, the Skink Blender, 1 Thyroscutus, the Stygiosaur, and the other block on the right. And I know I wanted to go first because he's got plenty of shooting. And I just wanted to set up symmetrically. And I knew he was going to probably place those cannons on the hill, which he did. And I placed the Stygiosaur behind the hill, behind the Impassable. Pretty simple idea. I wanted to get there and I wanted to fight him. He dropped on the left is his king with the Forge Guardians, or is that what they are? Deep Watch. And I think all of his characters are in there. I'm pretty sure. These are the 2 units of crossbowmen. These are the 2 cannons. These are the Greybeards. These models are really cool. These are like bears, like armored bears. It's kind of a bad shot here, but he uses those as the Forge Guardians. Then his 2 copters are behind those guys.
Okay, so you guys just lined up. Let's fight.
Yeah, and Walter, like I was walking into this tournament like I didn't think this list was competitive. Let's just have a good time. Let's just throw some dice in the center of the board. So in my first turn, I basically, run up with those pterodons. I put the pterodons right in front of his cannons on the hill to give him minus 2 to hit, which is nice. And then these pterodons flew over the crossbowmen and dropped a few rocks on him, and they only killed 2 guys. And I basically wanted my blocks to shift to the right, and I wanted my Thyroscutus here to head toward his king. Even though it's a bad matchup with his multiple wounds, I could definitely keep him in line for 2 to 3 rounds of combat in my mind.
Because he's strength 6, so
6
you get a 4
winning on
up.
3s, yeah.
Yeah. That seems like a sound plan.
And to do that, I ran my Caiman unit in front of this skink block here, which is fine. So I wanted to get the Caimans up into all of this over here on the right. That was my game plan.
Is that a hill that's in the middle there?
This here? Oh no, right here. This is a forest. This is a forest.
Okay, got it.
In the magic phase, I get off a totemic summon, which is nice, and try to kill these cannons.
Nice.
So in his turn, both of his copters, they're over here now, kind of do their sweeping attack and then their shooting attack at the pterodons that were in front of the cannons, cause them to panic, and this is the pterodon with 1 wound left that's running away from all that over here. Beyond that, he doesn't do anything else. He pushes up with his king, comes straight at me, and pushes up on the right. Kind of what I expected. Actually, I think about it, he probably should have stayed back, but yeah. He kind of had to bring the king into the fight on the left here. In my turn, the chaff piece that was in the back here runs in front of his king. I run the Thyroscutus over there to take the place once he kills this piece of chaff. I throw the other Thyroscutus up in front of these 2 blocks. So basically, the Thyroscutus has his Greybeards and the Hold Guardians chaffed, but the Hold Guardians could go a fairly long charge into my block here on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the magic phase, I get off Healing Waters on this Thyroscutus. So this is Thyroscutus as going to be very hard to kill. I'm going to have reroll on a leadership 6 if they charge me.
Yep.
But he surprises me. He doesn't charge the Tharascutus. He puts the Hold Guardians into my Skaman block, which surprised me.
Is he actually in, or did he just march up 1 inch in front?
No, he made the charge in. In the backfield, what am I trying to say? My Totemic Summon killed 1 cannon. He runs both of his copters back to try to kill it, and it doesn't kill the Totemic Summon, which is really lucky for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes in, and he takes the chaff on the left. And on the right, I stick. He puts all of his attacks into the Cayman, which is the right move. Because if you kill the Cayman, the leadership of that unit goes down to 5 instead of 7.
Yeah.
And he does 3, 6, 8 wounds to the Cayman, and there's 1 Cayman left with 1 wound. So I'm on a leadership 7 with a reroll. I stick. In my turn, I go for a long charge with the Cayman unit into his crossbows here and make it. Oh, I'm sorry, he did kill the Totemic Summon with the shooting from the copters. Yeah. And then I just basically put the the Tharascutus in front of his King's unit. I made this long charge, so I know I'm hopefully gonna overrun into his cannon this turn, which is super nice. I throw the Tharascutus in front of his Greybeards and run my Stegosaur kind of into his backfield here, and I turn the Skink Blunder into the flank of his Hold Guardians, because hopefully I stick for 1 more round of combat, and then I'm charging his flank. Which I think the Skink Blunder can go through that unit in the flank.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
because you have rending, right? So you can get up to AP2. Yeah.
Yes, here.
Yeah.
I get Break the Spirit off on the Hold Guardian, so they're -1 to hit, which is nice. Again, so they're -2 to hit that 1 Cayman.
Yeah.
But he does end up doing that 1 wound to the Cayman, but luckily I stick. Pretty awesome. And the top, I overrun into his cannon. On the left, he takes the charge into the Tharascutus. And he comes over here and shoots a little bit of the Skink Blunder, but that's okay. And then his king whiffed and does 0 wounds to my Tharascutus. It was pretty painful. The Caymans had overrun to the cannon, kills the cannon, pivots to face the flank of his Greybeards, takes a charge into his Greybeards. And that's goodbye Greybeards. I stick on the right, and I charge the flank of his Hold Guardians with the Skink Blunder. Exactly what I wanted. This game's really, coming up strong for me.
Yeah.
Oh, and I take the charge with my Stegosaur into his Copter. With the overrun, I get the overrun into his other Copter. In the second round of combat, he does kill my Tharascutus over here on the left. But by this point, I have wiped out his Greybeards. I ran him down. I ran down his Hold Guardians. And basically all 3 of these units are in his deployment zone now. It's looking pretty snazzy for me in the movement phase. Again, I throw another Tharascutus in front of his king. I kind of encircle him from the right. And what happens after this? He ends up killing the Tharascutus. I end up killing the Copter with my Stegosaur. I charge into his remaining crossbow unit with the Stegosaur, and everyone else kind of just runs away from his king. With all of that, I end up with a 17. Go Skink Blunder. Woo! Skink Blunder chewed through a unit of Hold Guardians, even though I was in their flank. But I think I killed 4 bases with the Skink Blunder attacks.
Yeah. You only lost 2 pterodons and 2 Thyroscutus.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, my game plan really worked.
Yeah, I mean that's the textbook game plan for this kind of a matchup, right? Is avoid that block. I think him putting that over on the side. I mean, clearly he wanted the Cayman matchup, but him putting it over on the side made it kind of an uphill slog to get that block into relevance, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, in his first round of shooting, I don't think he did anything with his cannons, which was kind of annoying, bad for him. But then also by turn 2, I had the Atomic Summon into him, so I counteracted those cannons really quick. Yeah, it's a great game. Walter, thank you for the game, and it's a great start for the Skink Blender into the Wicked GT. I'm feeling very confident about the Skink Blender. It feels good to be playing the Skink Blender again. I love it. Everyone gives me crap. Everyone gives me crap for this army, but whatever. I love it. For the last time.
Justin Berge once told me that the Skink Star was the brightest star in the sky. So yeah, you're in good company.
Yeah, Walter, thank you for the game. When we come back, we will get deeper into the Wicked GT. But thanks for watching. If you're still watching, please like and subscribe. And hey, if you like that little discussion about 8th edition Warhammer at the beginning, also hit that like and subscribe button. We'd love to have more 8th edition guys viewing the videos. But see you next time.